And to help us dissect these, we're joined live on the news by a former director, Department of State Services, Mike Ejiofor. Good morning. Glad to have you join me.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Now, on the 7th of March, we had reports of 287 pupils kidnapped, additional 14 persons barely a week after. And now we have a report of 87 people kidnapped on Sunday in Kaduna State. Why does this continue to happen?
Well, it's a very difficult question to answer because, first of all, we must identify what the perpetrators of this criminality, what do they want, if not to destabilize government and make government unpopular. Uh, I thought we got to a point where this issue of mass kidnapping has relapsed, but it seems to be coming up again. I know these things come up with inception of new administration to make people feel that the government is incompetent and incapable of providing security, which is, of course, the basic function of government, provision of welfare and security to the people. It's worrisome, but we've been getting reassurances from the president, from the service chiefs, that these people will be released. But I believe that they are doing this more for economic reasons, to raise money, and not only raising money, using these people as a shield. And the number of people that are being kidnapped at a time is worrisome. You begin to ask yourself, do they use lorries? Do they use buses? Do they use motorcycles? Or they trek with this huge number of people? It's quite disturbing and quite worrisome. But I believe the government too, like you said, is on top of the situation and handling, ensuring, trying to ensure that the people are released safely.
Now, talking about the presidency, what's your thoughts on the position of the government not to pay ransom?
Well, the best practices all over the world. Governments don't negotiate with terrorists. Talk of bandits. You know, there seems to be a distinction, though a thin line between the bandits and the terrorists. The terrorists are ideologically driven for political reasons, but these bandits, we don't know what they want. So the president has come out to say, we are not going to pay any ransom, but we assure the safety and release of these people. I think if the government can stick to that, though it's a dicey situation because unless when you are affected, you begin to say don't pay ransom. But people whose relatives are in captivity are always tempted to go and pay. But if they must pay, like our government says not paying, if they must pay, they must collaborate with the security agencies to ensure that this money at the end of the day is traced, to certain people who have the money. It has been done before when the central bank governor's wife was kidnapped. The money was marked and the money was traced to which led to the arrest of the culprits. So I think we should be able to follow the money.
Hmm. Now, when it comes to insecurity, do you think this kidnapping particularly, do you think it has to do with a political will, a requisite number of security officers, or even apparatus needed? What really is the problem, Mike?
Well, I don't think it's political will because, first of all, the primary purpose of government is welfare and security of the people. So, any government that cannot provide welfare and security of the people is not fit to be a government. And I don't think there's anybody who will be elected and fail to discharge that responsibility. I agree we have a lot of challenges. Challenges in terms of equipment, in terms of understaffing, underfunding, lack of welfare, and the vast area in which these people operate, the ungoverned spaces that are very, very vast. We don't have sufficient manpower to cover these areas. But we cannot continue like that because it's quite disturbing. Don't also forget that these bandits have no standard operating procedures. They can shoot and they can maim people, unlike our security forces who engage in standard practices that you don't seem to get people out of harm's way and put them in more dangerous way by going all out. The most important thing we should be doing, or the government should be doing now, is to ensure that this is put to a stop. Because once the kidnapping takes place and these people are in custody, it becomes very difficult to get them freed
Just to quickly
because they
chip
will
in
be used
there,
as human shield.
just very briefly before we
Yes.
wrap up, you talked about you not thinking the problem we have with kidnapping is a case of political will. What are your assurances? Why are you so certain it's not a question of political will?
If it's political will, the president shouldn't be concerned, by issuing statements, summoning the service chiefs. The National Assembly is worried. They're also summoning security chiefs. Everybody is worried. So if the political will is not there, all these meetings and consultations won't be taking place. So I believe we'll have challenges that must be addressed.
Well, thank you so much for your time on the news. Mike Ejiofor, former Director, Department of State Services. Thank you once again.
Thank you for having me.